Well, that's annoying.
Was that?
I think we're live. Open new tab.
I think I just got the notification, so I think yes.
Fantastic.
Yep, we're good. At least on my end, it's good.
Come on.
All right.
View your channel. There we go. Just gonna post this to Twitter real quick.
Okie dokie. Where the hell did you guys come from? I'm gonna try not to talk so much about the game
Oh no,
while
it's
I'm
fine before we even
here.
get going. Crap, who cares?
Yeah. I'm just talking about when we're going. I'm not. It'd just be weird if I just start talking about Raiders or something. Just
it's
completely
it's
unrelated.
right outside his house, folks. It's right outside.
Like, yeah, a bunch of raiders are infesting my house. Anyway, about Elon Musk.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where we wanted to start here. So, um,
Yeah.
allegedly, Uncle Elon or somebody fucking made a remark that the original post I remember from somebody else was uh, Jews hate white people. Uh, so I'm overly generalizing, but like at least half, the majority, uh, aren't a fair amount of Jewish people white people, at least to some.
Yeah. That's what somebody talked to me about. Was it was that the same Chabad thing I mentioned earlier? Should I explain what that is? Now that we're
Sure, yeah,
recording?
I don't know what Chabad is. I don't.
Yeah, yeah. Chabad is a campus group on most colleges. It's for mostly Orthodox Jews, which means Jews that actually follow all the rules and everything, and actually are like religious Jews. Just to talk, hang out. Usually there'll be a rabbi there who can answer your questions and everything, and help you be a better Jew.
Uh
Um, and I was with somebody, and they were talking to me about Schrodinger's Jew, uh, when it sometimes Jews are minorities, other times they're just regular old white people. It all depends on the statistic the person you're talking to wants to use. But most of the time, Ashkenazi Jews will consider themselves white, and that makes up a good majority of the Jews that you're probably thinking about. But that's just, but yeah, so that's basically a long way of saying you're right.
huh. Okay. Um, that supposedly I don't know if anyone's actually seen the tweet itself in Elon's stream, but it's not too hard, I believe, to edit to make it look like someone made a post. Um, if he did, I mean, he's gonna have to reap it. But if he didn't, it's kind of bullshit that everybody jumped on it. I remember Bloomberg that day they were shit talking about like a couple days later, it became well maybe not. Um, if I were a dick, I guess I'd clip it and like send it to Elon and be like, hey, look, you can sue him.
Elon, look.
Mm.
But
But yeah,
that
full
that's
full full disclaimer: I'm not invested in Tesla because Elon Musk is a giant pain in the ass, and I don't want to attach to that.
just economically is a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like
I
objectively, like
I I think it's finally come back to fucking. Actually, let me double check something. Am I set to private? No, it's
I sure
public.
hope not.
No, it's
I was about to say I should hope not. Who's this
who's what?
dog? Again, sorry, talking about the fucking Fallout thing. There's this random dog that got modded in that I was not aware of. You ever just
Oh,
install so many mods on something you don't know what half of them do? 'Cause this is my
yes.
friend.
Well, that's a little different for Civ.
Yeah.
There's a difference between I'll enable a Civ and then forget about him, and then
Yeah.
wonder why am I getting my ass kicked. Oh shit! I turned on Skynet.
Oh, Sky.
Yeah, no, it's as bad as it sounds. It is the most busted fucking fan mod I have ever. and I feel bad saying that because the guy who made it tried to make a light version, and he's like, "Well, it's my mod." I'm like, "You literally made this version to make it more accessible, and it's still head and shoulders stronger than any goddamn thing else."
Ugh.
Yeah, no shit. But he was
Right.
somewhat receptive, which is makes it even worse that he was far and away that disgustingly busted.
It's just it's just like I hate telling you that you're wrong, but
Well, yeah,
you are.
there was a lot of love that went into it too, so that's a shame. So we'll get off of
Yeah.
Civ since I'm pretty sure you're not familiar with that one. I guess we'll get to
Nah.
yeah, we'll get to Zero Punction.
Oh yeah.
Our boy Ben Yahtzee. Before we do this, and I was thinking about this on the way to the fucking getting dinner earlier. Let's see, did they replace him? Because I remember when they got rid of Movie Bob, they had another guy there who sucked. Just
Yeah.
completely terrible. And 13 days ago, uh, I don't know. I'm kind of waiting. It's a shame that they didn't put out anything new, where they would have just shit talked him. Um, I I'm gonna just say it with like people like it's done, and I'm like there is someone that they could replace him with. Uh,
Who's that?
well, I don't know what they call themselves these days since they've rebranded it so many.
Oh.
They used to do that style.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Old
Oh,
Bale
yeah.
Spawn. Lily Orchid
Oh,
could absolutely like they've done the videos were very watchable if they're desperate enough. I mean, it was what 5 to 6 digit views. I'm looking at some of these. You'd have to hope like hell that people would peek back over curiosity, but once you got them in the door, for just game reviews, it would work.
I mean, how?
I'm not saying
Listen,
it would do as good, but you'd have something.
it's better than I guess it's better than nothing, which it sounds like what they're doing now is just about nothing.
Yeah. Um, I remember fucking Linus Tech Tips was talking about it. And he's like, God, just
Really?
yeah. It was on one of their fucking like it was a clip from the WAN show, the Weekend
Oh
Analysis.
yeah.
Um, he's like, and one day they were just all gone. Could you imagine that? And I was like, I don't know, Linus. Can you? Careful there,
I
son.
mean,
You're not too big. You're not too big where that can't happen to even you.
yeah. I mean, I speaking as a bit of a layman when it comes to the like the Escapist channel, wasn't that like their big thing
That was
with
the
the
only
zero
thing they had
punctuation
left.
stuff?
That was all they
Yeah,
had.
that's what.
I'm like looking through.
I mean, I think I remember listening to like one of those little parody songs they made 1,000 years ago that was about Portal 2, but that's literally all I knew them for besides that. And there's a fat man. Okay,
Let's see.
great.
Monty Python Elden Ring Multiverse, 400,000 views. That was 4 months ago. I'm just scrolling back to see if anything like really went truly crazy fucking viral. Lord of the Rings did 600,000 for their review of that with Ben.
Hmm.
Um,
How many subscribers do they have?
that would have been a time to ask that a couple weeks ago, or at least 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
But um,
Yeah.
1,000,017 million. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
let's see. The new thing is called Ramble something or other.
So
New.
they've immediately already.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not immediate, but they've already kind of tried to
Yeah.
get something new.
Uh, you mean by zero punctuation or Ben and his people?
Oh,
Was
I was thinking the Escapist. I guess
no nothing.
I'm a
As
little
far as I
off.
get, as far as YouTube videos go, nothing. We
Cool.
could go to the Escapist and look.
Yeah.
Here,
Let's
let's
try
see.
and find out.
All right, let's take a look. Yeah, maybe they did just stop putting it on YouTube. Let's see. December the 4th, Godzilla minus one is better than anything in the multiverse. Is this? Nope, just an article. I ain't reading that
So
shit.
yeah, imagine reading.
God, fuck that.
Uh,
I'm checking to see. You got a video section. Let's see. Video series. Adventure is Night. November 6th, there's definitely something here. It's also on YouTube? Oh, November 6th. Yeah, no, this is long dead then.
oh,
Yeah, I was thinking of December, and I was like, are we? No.
wow, December 6th. They're in the future.
Not well. Yeah, I don't know. It was close enough where my brain was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, trust me,
Documentaries.
I've been in that exact same situation where it's just like, oh yeah, it's about that time. Don't know
Okay.
if it's before or after, but it is in the range.
Okay, that died off the 3-minute series. Whoop. Nope. 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 Don't click that. Uh, nothing embarrassing.
Say,
Designer devs. January from fucking last year. Oh no, January 2023. Extra punction. I'm gonna miss that. I instead of just assing off, it used to just be in written format, where he would take more of a serious tone and take a more of a like an analytical view. And I like analysis, and I like this series.
yeah,
It was a
I
little bit
mean,
more heartfelt the first time fucking Ben Yahtzee started up his fucking series, the brand new one. But by the end, and he's like, oh, and by the way, cock balls, knobs, like just because he likes assing off.
yeah. I mean, that's I am unclear as to the reason why they took him off. If you could enlighten me.
Well, okay, so from the interview that I saw, and Ben was there, somebody apparently big enough got let go because he wasn't hitting their targets, which he explained. We would have had to have like put out a video like every 22 seconds or some shit like that. Maybe obviously an over exaggeration, but way too goddamn high.
Yeah, just like unsustainable.
Yeah, and fucking Ben's remark is, I've remember being the last man on the flagship before, and I said I'm not doing that again. And he did that specifically for zero punctuation. When fucking Bob and Jim Sterling both fucking left, Bob Chipman,
Yeah.
and he was the last asshole there. And according to him,
Right.
he didn't sound like he was thrilled about it.
Yeah, if he didn't do it again, then I doubt he had a great time doing it. First time around.
I don't know how much he was involved for.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as I could tell over at Ramblematic, they've put out 2 of his totally not zero punctuation things. One for RoboCop and one for Alan Wake 2. They're fine.
Yeah, well, there you go.
A lot of the behind the scenes people you don't see or hear are fucking floated over with them. So you would definitely need a one man show who would either bring their own crap to sit there and hold it up. Oh, we got somebody. Good evening. Hope you're all doing well. Maybe. I'm now.
Hello.
Hello. There was somebody I fucking used to fucking talk to that I saw how bad their fucking streams were doing today.
It's always upsetting.
Yeah, no, not doing so hot right now, but I'm sure that the fucking views will get up at least, maybe we'll clock in around 100 or not. We'll see.
The other one got around is around because I'm a horrible narcissist who checks it sometimes.
Who?
Because that's the only time I've ever done anything. Me. The one we did about
Yeah, 269.
again. Yeah, there you go, 269. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good.
Yeah. 400. For inactivity, 3 digits is fine. I've definitely saw the fuck it. I don't have any class. The burning donut. Oh yeah, no. I was like, you know what? Why am I being a chicken shit? Let's take a look over what drove me nuts about this. He was doing everything in his power. Is it not showing up? Hey Donut. Hey Donut. I know you have a channel. Did I spell it wrong? I must have. Oh, my bad. The Burning Donut.
Oh my gosh! It didn't even show. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I know.
Case sensitive. I.
Oh, there he is. No, it's
I
the yeah.
know.
So, Donut, if you're ever watching this, if anyone ever taps you on the shoulder, maybe just change the channel name to Burning Donut instead of the Burning Donut, because
Yeah.
oh,
You
you
don't
know what?
have enough clout to just be the mononym.
I take it back. You know what? 69 views. Blimey. All right. So it's a little bit better. You know what?
Good.
I don't know. I was looking over at these. Let's see videos. 11 views, 3 views, 40 views. This will be the one where I lose. 7, 10, 5, 5. And what I remember was being bad is it he was going after fucking like everything that you would like you'd suggest. You're like, oh hey, look, if you need views. Like he covered 9/11 in one of these and it was still shit views, and I was like,
Jesus.
well, it was the right time to do it. You know, it was around September, I think.
Well, yeah.
Oh, there it is. 9/11 story, 21 views. 2 months ago.
Jeez.
I know. Oh.
Oh gosh! Wow.
I don't have any news stories. I've already told my shit from there. I'm not going to beat it back now. So.
Wait. Jeez, when you said like low views.
Oh yeah, no.
I didn't think that bad.
Yeah, no. So let's get off that.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm just shitting on this guy I don't know, so I'm just.
Oh yeah, no. I've already said my pieces about Donut being in wrong company.
Yeah.
It's a shame. So let's see. Next topic. Got it.
Right. Yeah.
It's embarrassing. Rick and Morty.
Have
you heard the new voices?
I have. I will say this. Morty sounds fine. Not great. Not that great, but I think he sounds fine, like serviceable. Rick's is like it's very, very weird. It's very weird to hear it. And it's like it's just Morty, it's me, Rick, and it's like you couldn't have found like one of those YouTubers who's like 1,000 impressions in 5 minutes or whatever to do it a better job than that.
I heard it, and here's the thing: is it's like when someone puts when I would watch a clip and they'd be like new voices, I'd be like, oh yeah, I totally hear it. But like when I'm watching a whole episode, I have to remind myself, like I can't pick up on it. And I was I was fully prepared to sit there and say, you know, shit or yay or nay or something like that. I guess fingers crossed. I was kind of hoping that it would be shit without him, just because it'd be funnier. Because everybody's oh, you don't need him that bad. No, they really didn't. they really didn't need him that bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's because for some reason this might just be me. I feel like the writing's gotten a little better too, and that's what keeps it kind of from being so noticeable. Is that the writing does seem a little better, or that's just might be me not having seen it for so long.
Do you just watch the clips, or have you been watching the episodes?
I've been watching the clips usually.
Yeah, and there's usually like, okay, this guy will put up 5 minutes, this guy will put up 5 minutes, and after watching like a handful of these, you've more or less watched the whole episode.
Yeah, like that.
So when I sat down and watched the the spaghetti episode, I had to turn it off.
Really?
It was, I don't know, just something about eating dead guys made out of spaghetti. I'm like, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah, I'm mostly talking about I'm mostly just talking about the one with the guns where it's like a gun that shoots bad guys and then he tries to shoot at the bad guy and it just shoots out Jeffrey Dahmer. I thought that joke was that was like the first time.
Oh, no. So I'll explain this in the lore. Do you remember when they did the intergalactic cable?
Yes, I do.
And then there's the Morty's Mind Smashers or whatever the fuck they're Mind Blowers, whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming that was. We're doing a clip show where we could put random zany bullshit and slam as much nonsensical shit in there as we possibly can to, you know, show blah 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 how either imaginative or unimaginative we are. I liked it. Obviously, for the 100th time, we get to see someone taking the piss out of the Watcher, which I'm assuming that's what they were doing if you know the Marvel character.
I'm not familiar.
So Watcher is from originally a What If series, and I know this from being an old comic book geek, not the movie, or movies. Sorry. It is literally a race of exposition dump. Voyeur is the one where you watch shit, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like creepy watch.
That is the joke that everybody calls them. Everyone, every fandom person calls them voyeurs. They're supposed to have this. I guess you're not going to get the Warhammer reference of me calling them like Eldar or like this ancient race of da 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 da. But it does seem really obvious. Boy, don't you guys got nothing better to do with your lives? No, they really don't.
Yeah, I see where it's coming from.
As for you were telling me that Dan Harmon's kind of a garbage person. What's the name of the other asshole that got caught doing all the other?
Justin Roiland. Yeah.
So I've heard him on tape and going off of, and I've played it on the streams before. You could find it. I get the odd feeling that my only complaint is that I think a lot of people sat on that shit because they're like, I'm gonna wait till I take my shot and I'm gonna make it count.
Yeah, I mean everybody's got a playbook. Like,
yeah.
Like as terrible as the things he did is, and as much as it's a shitty thing to be like, oh, you just waited for that, and it's like but at the same time, it's like if you're gonna have it, you might as well play it.
As pretentious as it is, I guess that's just the way the game is played. Continuing on.
Yeah.
So there's a gentleman that goes by the name of JD DeLay. I wanted to play the clip so bad, but I couldn't find him by now. Feel free to doubt me. Anybody watching. JD DeLay is a convict YouTuber. I'm not sure what he'd call himself. I'm not using the term convict as a derogatory.
He just actually went to jail.
Yeah, that's his channel.
He's a guy who went to jail. He's a convict. It's not derogatory. It's fine.
His line at the end of not all of his videos. I used to like when he said this. He's either be good or be good at it. Which I would argue maybe you weren't, JD. Maybe you weren't. So he says this first part, or no women, no children. It's this code that we have. Da 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 da. I'm like, fair enough, but he also mentions some gay guy goes to prison after murdering both his parents, and he's like, he got sick of taking their shit, and he grabbed his shiv and went underneath the guy's arm and stab, and it just want to let you know that gay people are done taking your crap. And I'm like, didn't you just say no women, no children? He murdered both his parents. What the fuck, man? Do you not have any fucking sense of consistency whatsoever, or maybe do you have too many Patreon people that are a little too left leaning? Is that what it is, JD? Or do you drink the Kool-Aid yourself? I'm just wondering.
Because it's like one of those things where it's like it takes you a minute and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, and
he killed both his parents and no women, no. Wait a minute.
Yeah, why are you cheering this on? And I'll put it to you this way. I told you this before. If you're like, oh, are you assuming that both of them were male or female? I was like, so doesn't that make it worse if one of them was trans?
And then that's just a hate.
Unless you're going to say that they really don't count, and that's on you, pal. That's the only way that works if you're trying to say that. Let's see. But I'll eventually come. I'll definitely intend to come back to that one, either stream or just a regular fucking video thing. So we're getting down here. George Lucas. I mentioned, what was his name? Watto.
Yeah, Watto.
You said that was all in my head. Got it.
Yeah, it was Watto, and I was just mentioning that. I mean, you mentioned it, and then that it. I keep saying it because I don't know what I'm allowed to say on YouTube. I've never.
No, I got you. Well, I'll put it to you this way. I know this one isn't entirely in just my head because I've seen, Boondocks. Do you know what that is?
Yes, of course.
And that originally came out of the Chicago Tribune, to the best of my knowledge. I researched it, and on top of that, before researching it, I used to read it in the Chicago Tribune way back in the day. He very much pointed out, you could find it online, he alluded to that fucking Misa tap dance for you, that he was a caricature of black people.
Yeah.
So that one's not in my head. That's just there, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll say that I didn't see it, but me not seeing it does not mean it's in your head.
Okay.
It just means that I didn't see it because I didn't.
Yeah, and to be fair, I am just waiting to see. I hated that character and anything to get it off screen faster. I am fully on board with.
Yeah, just get rid of Jar Jar, man. Not even for the reason people want to get rid of him, just because
he's fucking obnoxious. No, I think everybody wanted.
Yeah.
I think you would have put up with him if he'd been fun, but he's not.
Yeah, like
J.K. Rowling and the Goblins.
Yeah, and I'll just say, like, I guess it was just because I was never looking for it necessarily, but then people would point it out to me, and I'd be like, oh. Like, I kind of, and then it's like, it's a point where I kind of get it. It's
yeah.
Like, oh, I guess I see it. But you struggle to get outraged by it as well, is like my thing, is that like a lot of people will be like, aren't you outraged about this? And I'm like, not necessarily. I mean, it's weird, and if it's what she intended, then that's a little shitty, but
yeah, well, on top of that, it is a fantasy setting. You tend to have things like dragons, dwarves, elves, swords, if you know the shitty rap battle. Yeah.
I literally just mentioned the rap. I was thinking about the C.S. Lewis, the king, dragons, dwarves. And it's just like...
It's the checklist,
yeah. And it's another thing. You remember that? What's the guy?
But my counter. We bring it back around when I mentioned Warhammer. They were able to cover those without making the goblins, the orcs, or any of those things resemble Hebrew in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to mention. What was the guy who did the high pitched voice thing? And he did the whole thing about Nazis, and if you play as a Nazi, that makes you like a Nazi. What was his name? The YouTube Extra Seconds. Extra Seconds. Do you remember that? No. Extra Credits. Extra Seconds is a different thing. And it was this guy. He made that video on the orcs, talking about how orcs are.
Fucking. Is it Extra Credit? So is he saying that if you're an actor who plays a Nazi?
He's saying it's even worse than that. He's saying if you're in a video, say if you're playing like Day of Defeat. And if you're playing Day of Defeat and you're playing as a Nazi, that normalizes being a Nazi.
I didn't know that.
Which I think is totally fucking ridiculous.
Well, one, I didn't know that there was that game, so I guess I'd have to see it. I was in like a side server for fucking Laserpig's channel, run by a guy named Coob. One of the guys in there, very left-leaning, had a friend who offered him a legit, like from leftover from World War II, Nazi flag. And history nut. He's like, absolutely, I want it. And he made a remark. I mentioned it to one of my trans friends, and they ditched me. And I was like, so the funny thing is, despite I'm right-leaning, light-leaning, would I have taken it? It's part of history, but the same criticism I gave him, he wasn't really able to answer. And on top of that, I'd have the same problem. I don't have any other flags, nor did he. And I was like, do you see why that looks bad? Like if you were a flag collector and you're like, I've got all the other ones and you want to complete the set, from a collector's standpoint, there's no argument that you can make from a collector's standpoint. You're a completionist if you've ever done that. But if you're not, you're starting out that way, it just looks bad, pal.
I definitely think it's I'm going to say this, I definitely think it's a bad look. But I'm saying this as a Jewish person, and I'm about as Jewish as you can get. I would totally taken it. Yeah, because I'm also a history major. I would have taken it.
Not a reproduction, not fucking a reasonable facsimile. This was something that was flown back in 1940. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, my friend has a Hitler Youth knife. He's not Jewish and he's not a Nazi, but he has a Hitler Youth knife.
Um,
like the ones they actually hang,
well,
and he was.
I saw this in a YouTube video. It was from a movie where the girl with it. I don't know. It was some kind of weird sequence or whatever, and she's like, "I want you to be careful with that. What's so important about this pistol?" And it had the fucking goddamn the engraving. I actually forgot the fucking initials. I'm AH.
SS?
AH.
Yeah,
Obviously. Yeah. No, it's his gun. And his response is, "This is Adolf Hitler's gun. Shut the fuck up." No, he does shoot her. Would I keep that gun? I'm either keeping it or selling it for an obscene amount of money.
I mean, you think about it this way. For me, at least, it would piss the people who flew that flag off to know.
Oh yeah, to know that you had it
flag.
specifically. Yeah.
That I specifically, half Jewish, half black, own your flag now, motherfucker. It's in my basement.
The only way I would even get away with fucking goddamn flying it is I would fly it upside down underneath the American flag, underneath the Mexican flag, just right there at the bottom, right where you belong.
It's like dragging through the mud and shit.
Yes, there you go.
You got so many flags on the pole. It's not even. It's not even.
No, I like that. That's good. Yeah, that's fucking beautiful.
Yeah. I love that as an idea. Just some guy who's like. It's like one of those people that's like, yeah, I'm 30% Irish, like 20% Scottish, and he's flying like every flag of his like ancestry test on like a pole, and like they're all bunched up at the bottom.
I'm gonna skip over Trudeau because I feel like that's been done to death.
Yeah, I'm sure you can tell how I feel about him.
Yeah, it's old. It's old hat.
Yeah.
I guess the only takeaway we were going to say about Tom Cruise is that nobody agrees with his beliefs, but he's a cool guy? Question mark. Was that it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I was saying is that I love his movies, but again, he's fucking great. It's my same thing. I think I've said to you before about Mormons is that they seem really nice. They seem to be very pious, and they have a healthy lifestyle. They don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't even drink caffeine. Crazy as fuck. Nuts.
Well,
just
I don't know every last one of them.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying from my perspective, from what I've experienced with them, is like really nice people, super kind, always willing to lend a hand to literally anybody who's around. Honestly, they helped me carry a guitar amp up like 50 flights of stairs. That's not a small ask.
No shit.
And really nice people. I talk to them, and they don't try and convert me or anything, but they believe when you die, you go to another planet, and you get your own planet and shit. And it's like, that's crazy. Like, there's no other word for it.
I don't know if that really happened. I'd have a sit down conversation. I'm like, God, you're overdoing it. It's not that I wouldn't take. It's not that I wouldn't take the whole planet. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like the planet. I just don't believe you get one.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask for a whole planet. Fuck. I'd like to think.
Yeah.
I'd like to think. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't experienced eternity yet, so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, if he offered me one, obviously I'd.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to ask.
I wouldn't want to be rude.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be presumptuous, but if everyone else is getting one.
I just imagine a Mormon going, listen to these two douchebags. These pretentious assholes whining about a planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, my life.
Oh, I mean, but that's the same thing I feel about Tom Cruise is that he's a great actor. I love a lot of his movies. I was just watching A Few Good Men, and he's incredible in that movie.
Oh yeah, hands down.
It's just he's a Scientologist, and Scientology is. Why did the vertebrate go hostile, by the way? But sorry, talking about the game again. I mean, again, there's not another word for it. That shit's just nuts. Oh gosh. I mean, it was written by a science fiction writer. It was written by L. Ron Hubbard, who was.
Yeah, no, I know. Everybody knows by now.
Yeah, everyone knows by now. But there's this interview that Robin Williams did with Harlan Ellison. Which, if you just ever get a chance that you want to listen to two super interesting, intelligent people talk about something,
Oh,
That's not this
there's a
podcast, by the way.
oh yeah, I was about to say there's an amazing podcast. I think
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's done like at least 3 on Scientology, but there's one where fucking they're just fucking the deep dive on it. It's fucking immaculate.
Yeah, but it was but it's Harlan Ellison talking about how he knew L. Ron Hubbard when he was just a science fiction writer, and he was talking to him, and he said something that's just like, I wonder if I can make a religion, and I'm wondering how you can believe in something where there's undeniable proof that the guy who wrote it before was a science fiction writer. Like if Moses was a science fiction writer before he said, "Hey, I'm getting a revelation from God," I don't know if I'd be Jewish. I don't know how much I'd believe it. I'd just be like, okay, guy.
Well, what did Moses do before he was a prophet?
He was a slave.
Okay.
Oh no, he wasn't. No. I'm wrong. Most Jews were slaves. He was picked up by the Pharaoh, and he was the Pharaoh's kind of like adopted son.
Okay. Yeah, my brain.
And there's Ramses the second and everything.
Yes.
All that
Yep.
stuff.
No, I got you. I
Prince of
just
Egypt,
needed.
if you've seen it.
I needed a fucking memory refresh there because I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. He was a science fiction writer, obviously. But like that's insanity to me. Like genuine, like not just like, oh, that's hard to believe, but it just genuinely like.
Well, wasn't Joseph Smith notorious for telling tall tales and stuff? You know, that was his.
Yeah, and I mean, he was a huckster pretty much. He was just like your
I
definition of
love
huckster.
that. I love that term. It's right up there with Charlotte.
It's a great term on the server, which I'm not sure if I'm allowed to name, just because I don't want to get thrown out. One of my things that I got from that whole thing that happened is I just got the huckster, and now I've got, like, you know how you can put tags on someone on Discord?
Yeah.
Like the server can put like tags on you. My tags are reads books and huckster.
Jesus.
And so that's all I've got under my belt. They also called me Benedict Arnold for a little bit, and I was like,
oh yeah, no. Did they ever explain why the fucking amount of people that they claimed molested them went up and down?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I have not spoken to them since.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
And after that, they completely just like ignored what happened. They just didn't even like. They tried to get me removed, but I talked my way out of it. I was like, it's me. Come on, guys. Come on, fellas. You know me.
Did you play the Jew card?
I wish. I was like, 5,000 years and it never ends.
You've been like, you're throwing me out because you're anti-Semitic.
It's just you anti-Semitic bastards. How could you do this?
Oh, Jesus.
But it was just this. It was weird. It was very strange because, you know, it was obviously a lot of people who are like, their online thing is their everything. And if somebody kind of just comes in and is kind of like, this is a little iffy, like they'll just try their hardest to get you like fucking like excommunicated and shit. And it's like, but then it died almost immediately after that. Like it was the day after.
Well, the thing about Ogden that I remember is that they were complaining, oh, I got canceled because I was ERPing with adults. And I'm like, if you listen to that original call, they are correcting you originally. I can't believe that things have backslid so far in your chat there, Greg. It's a little weird that they, just let them do it. Apparently,
yeah. Cool. I mean, and it always boiled down to the thing, and it's why I've talked to these other people and said I don't regret. They say siding with you, but I just say siding on the side of like sanity, of just being like, if you have the names of people who are still at large, you have a fucking duty to name those people so that they can't continue doing harm. I don't care if it makes you cry and shit your pants because you're so fucking like traumatized by it. You have to name names because you're in a way you're letting these people get away with it. just because you don't want to talk about it, just because you're uncomfortable talking about it.
Well, here's the other thing why I don't believe Ogden when they say, "Oh, I don't remember." You were in the call writing down their personal kinks and how their role plays went on, which means there's there's a written record, motherfucker. Your written record.
Your written record.
Yes, nobody else's. Like,
if you can, listen, I'm just saying, if you remember the kinks and shit of the person, but not their name.
Maybe you need to. Yeah, look. I'm not here to tell you who and who can't RP. Maybe you need to take a break.
maybe you need to get a freaking life.
Good God, man. I've never, and man, I'm using rhetorically there. I
was about to say that's another thing I got in trouble for.
What?
And was using the wrong pronouns, and I genuinely didn't know. And that was it. Wasn't even me trying to be like a jerk or nothing. I just didn't know, and that's something else that was trying to be used against me, me and you, but mostly me because I was there, just in the server sitting around, and they were like, well, you used the wrong pronouns a bunch of times, and I was like, did I? And they were like, quit being a dick, and I'm like, I'm asking a question. I genuinely didn't know.
Their feelings don't care about your facts.
I love that.
Jeez.
Jesus. Oh, but like that whole thing was like the first time I had ever, basically the first time I had ever gotten into something like that, and it was, and
it was the first time. There. It was the first time I got into like any kind of thing like that before, because again, when it became an issue the first time, I don't remember being the one that got into any kind of thing. Everybody else sat there and said, "Hey, Ogden, you're kind of fucking up." That's what that recording was, and that one dude who claimed to be a mod going, "Oh, nobody really cares about that stuff."
Yeah,
I'm still convinced was a mod. I don't know if he left or whatever. The name was Luna something or other.
I can check and see if there's still a mod. Hold on.
Probably not, because it was from 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Let's see if they. I'm just gonna check and see if they're online. No, but Ogden's online.
I'm not saying throw him in.
That's
that would definitely get you kicked.
Uh-oh.
What?
Yeah. Ooh.
What?
Hold on. Hold on. I'm seeing it. They're talking. Are they talking about me? No. Okay.
You sound like you're itching to poke the bear. It sounds weird.
No. Okay, I'm saying Ogden's in the general having a fucking mental breakdown, and I was wondering if it was because of us.
What was it about?
No,
since you brought it up, I wasn't going to ask. What was it?
Let me read.
Okay.
Let me read.
All right, I need you to... Whatever comes next is on you, pal.
All right, let's see. I need to go all the way back. Whatever that server is. Hold on, what is this? God, I gotta go all the way fucking back to this. Discord. I've been using the new. It's really, you must fix things that are broken. Okay, so oh my god, this is so confusing.
So it's just a random event. If it's just some random,
yeah,
leave it alone then.
Yeah, that's what it seems to be. Someone just said that they're acting like a fucking cretin. That's their words, and then someone else, and then they just started going on a rant about how it's so hard to be on the internet or something.
So, just if I understand that, basically Ogden was bitching about something. Someone called him a cretin, and then fucking Ogden had a meltdown. And apparently Greg wasn't. And Greg wasn't there to virtual signal and be like, "How dare you! You leave them alone!" Yeah. Come on, Greg, you're slacking there. You're slacking. You're gonna lose your ally fucking badge there, Greg.
Yeah. And for my crimes, my controller has stopped working on my game. Damn it. For my crimes, I have been forced to play Fallout 4 on keyboard now.
For anyone who doesn't know who Greg is, it's from Mentally Advanced. I heard that they're. Let's see, have they done anything new lately?
They did a new pony thing super recently that got him a little bit of.
Oh yeah, no.
You have to hold down the fucking. Oh my god, this is horrendous.
Dawn somewhere.
Alt.
Hey guys.
Oh my god.
Empathy and sympathy. Let's see.
This is.
If you mean where are we? Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, or what is it called? Where are we now? Or how did we get here or something? So and listen, I like Greg, but sometimes.
Oh, I never said he wasn't talented.
It's a little pretentious.
We just did this with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, no shit. Greg is Tom Cruise.
I didn't. Well, Tom Cruise's wishes he could be in that shape at that age. But anyways, I mean, not Greg does.
Greg. There we go. The controller's working again.
Nice.
But yeah, and another thing that bothers me is you said are they 18 or 19?
Originally I know that they were underage.
When they joined the server, they were underage, and for somebody who joined the server when they were underage, they post very, very like sexual stuff, and it's insanely. I'm just saying, like, that doesn't start happening when you're 18. You don't just start posting that kind of stuff when you're 18. It seems very
They were talking about all that stuff from like 2 years ago. Again, that's in the tape. That's them admitting that they were underage at the time. And again, that one guy was like, "Oh, what's the big deal?"
What's the big deal? I don't know. You tell me, buddy.
Yeah.
What do you think the big deal is? Why don't you tell me what you think the big deal is?
Yeah, was that one of their secret? Was that one of their secret RP partners? Was I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's like trying to
wag the dog. Don't look at this.
Yeah, get a fire. The only way you beat fire is with other fire. You blow up something next to it.
It
sucks out all the oxygen.
There was something, and I was probably not thinking about talking about this. There's a guy named Spoctor Theory, who. Do you know anything about this story?
I do not.
So
I don't.
Spoctor Theory originally got into a big huff. Rant community, commentary community, one of these two. Big video came out, accused him of being this, that, and the other.
Yeah. He
was 17 at the time. Big name person in the ranting VA community, or of fucking DA community, or DeviantArt. Empty Brook put out a video defending so-and-so Spoctor Tech, and my take was, because Spoctor came out with a video and, "Hi guys, I have some disappointing news," and if you think the worst of me, like, he doesn't come out and say he's a pedophile, but it sounds really fucking terrible. And
I'm just gonna say it's not a good idea to be like, "Oh, this guy's a pedophile," and then be like, "Hey guys, I got some disappointing news." That's just a bad thing in general.
And here's the whole rub. It comes to light that they aren't. And I dug in my heels and said, "Hey, look, nobody confesses to that shit unless there's something there."
Yeah,
and fucking one of my peers at the time, who has since cut me off since the last stream, Leo Convoy. Hi, Tom. I was right, motherfucker. And at the time, he scared. Oh, he was just a scared little boy. And I'm like, you know what? Brooke's wrong, or Brooke's fucking a big name. I'll be banging my head against that. I'll be banging my head against Convoy. You know what? I'm probably wrong. No, I wasn't. I fucking wasn't, because later on, he was in a call with Names Junkie and somebody else. And here's the funny thing is, since I was one of the people who called Junkie for knowing more, I'm gonna fucking play the contrarian here, because you can. In the video, fucking Names Junkie is sitting there having a discussion with fucking Spoctor Theory. And he mentions that he's, and I still have some of the pictures from my 16-year-old girlfriend. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, I'm putting forward right now, right at the very beginning there, you were expecting that, and I put it right front center. But in the video, or even in the conversation, it doesn't start out that way. So it's monotonous, it's tedious, and the funny thing is, I didn't hear it in the goddamn recording until, like, Convoy goes, "Did you hear it?" I was like, "Wait, what?" I didn't hear it. Oh,
it's like a key change. It's like a key change in a song.
Well, for example, two guys I used to associate with, Josias Vida and what's the other dipshit? British Polish guy. Wrong Fuchsia. admits that he got into some shit or something like that, and Vita's like, I was fully prepared to give him shit eternally. And I'm like, wait. You guys all heard that and just let it go. As opposed to, yeah, it was some shit that he got into, and fucking everybody's like, oh, we heard it, but we didn't hear it. You know what I mean? It's true. It does happen. And I think that Junkie probably heard, but didn't like register that very clearly that old boy there had pictures of a 16-year-old on his hard drive.
That implies.
But yeah, sometimes you don't hear it, and it's very possible that he fucking did. But I still stick behind my guns that when he knew stuff about Spock the Theory the first time and he had first-hand knowledge, he could have easily came forward and said, hey, no matter how little it, blah, 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 here's what I know. Bamf, and that would have been it. And that's my whole thing. I had talked to Junkie since then. Brooke had told me this, but technically speaking, when I made the suggestion, when people get like overly apologetic and shit, it could just be, you're worried because the people you care about might turn on you. But it also could be, there's something you guys don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know, and and that's the whole thing. Tom Convoy points out in the fucking video, that might have been why he got overly apologetic. It's why he fucking got all doom and gloom, because, you know, he's not exactly clean. Now, Junkie at the time was 17, I think, or 18. The pictures are never going to stop being of a 16-year-old, unfortunately.
Yeah, you shouldn't keep... I
hate to put it to you this way. Even if Junkie had been 14, those pictures of a 16-year-old still aren't going to get any cleaner.
It's still child porn.
Yeah.
It's still, no matter how old you are. I mean.
Yeah. But my original stance that I said, at very best, fucking Spockter shouldn't be online. And had we done it my way, he would have saved himself a whole headache there.
I mean, I don't think I don't think I told this story another time. The other time I was on,
and it's not guessed right. That's personal experience. I know that's what you fucking do when you're in a situation like that.
Yeah, I've got a similar story, but it doesn't include any big names, so it's less interesting. But it's still a story that's relevant. It was my circle of friends, and a lot of people say this about that kind of stuff of like protecting somebody they know who did something wrong like that, specifically like a sexual predator, as they'll be like,
hold it. No one's. I'm not asserting that Spock the Theory was a sexual predator. Like,
well, yeah,
but I think there's a big misunderstanding that just generally, as far as I know, as I understand it, he had a bunch of shit that, you know, forgive forgive me calling it kosher, but it wasn't kosher. He had stuff he should not have had, which at the time should have been, and I deleted it right afterwards, and at most I would have been like, well, you shouldn't have had it.
Yeah. But what I just meant is like people who are like deviants, like sexual deviants in a way that's, I would call that like degeneracy. But like that term has become so watered down, it just means anybody who's anybody at this point. But I just didn't know the right way of phrasing it.
Well, where do you put the line?
Well, of course I put the line at where it's fucking like when you start to get like underage. That's where the line is.
Okay.
Or when consensual. Well, I'm just trying. I don't know what the catch-all term would be for this, because my thing is very like not sexual predator, but like somebody who's creepy, like just a creepy person who is like after people who are younger than them, in a way that's underage.
Well, again, it wasn't so much the age, because if fucking let's see, it'd have been 2 years, so Junkie would have been probably 19 by now. Should have been 16. Like, I don't believe he was still pursuing her. It was just, you know, I guess having the wrong stuff. Like, it wasn't, as far as I know, I don't know that he was pursuing this person and making them uncomfortable beyond where they wrapped up. There might be. There might be.
Yeah, I see what you're
I
saying.
don't like I get like you have to be very careful when some shit comes to light, which admittedly I may have tanked there on occasion, but now, very much not trying to fucking put any more on Junkie than I initially not Junkie, fucking Spoctor. I keep mixing up those two names. Spoctor
Yeah.
Theory. Again, for Junkie, my biggest complaint was not coming forward. I said my piece to them already. Maybe he was just zoned out on the call. The other thing I noticed too is it was in that call that they asked, "Are you waiting for Brooke to come defend you?" Yeah, and Convoy points out rightly in the video, "What are you doing, Brooke?"
Oy.
You know what? I'm gonna look that up right now. Let's see. Did they ever make a statement about that? Because they
Oh,
shamed me
anyway,
down. They shamed me down until I fucking took my video down, or actually privated it, and I could remake it public again. Just it would take a bit of digging. Let's
Hold
take
on.
a look.
Let me see if I can get back to what I was saying.
Go ahead.
It was just a story.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. Where me and my friends had a former friend who was doing that kind of stuff, but like in a much more serious way. He had just become like 18, and he didn't realize that it was like he couldn't be going after people who were 16 anymore. And we all told him that, and
Well, how old
it
was he?
eventually got he had just turned 18. He
Okay.
was like 18 and a half maybe, and he was talking about it, and he was like, well, I'm still young enough. I'm still gonna try. And at that point, we all got together, and we we I don't know if this was too much of a reaction, but we did have to call the authorities on it, because if he's saying that he's gonna go after these people, that's something that needs to be told to somebody.
So with
And I
Rome,
know
so yeah, I know there's Romeo and Juliet laws. Um,
yeah, I guess, but
I well no
I
no hold
just
it hold
really
it hold
feel
it
like
hold it. Let me finish with that. You didn't do anything wrong, I don't
yeah.
think, outside of
Sorry.
maybe like how long did you like poke him before you called the cops?
We all got together. He was talking about it, and it was someone we knew from school who we knew was like, who was 16, it was 15, about to turn 16,
Yeah,
and who had
I
always
think you guys made the right
was
play.
talking about.
I think you made the right play. Um,
Yeah, I feel like too. But it was what he said. He said he probably thought he was fucking untouchable, because he was the kind of guy who thought he was untouchable.
no,
He
you
was
made the right
he
play.
said I'm gonna keep he said I'm gonna keep doing it, and that's when we realized it's like, okay, this guy's got a fucking
Um,
and people talk about it, it's like they say you don't understand what it's like to have to put your friend in that position, and I'm like, yeah, I do. I did it, and I did it in a fucking heartbeat, and I do
well,
it again.
hold it. You didn't.
The closest people I know.
No, hold it. You didn't put him in that position. He put himself in that position. Fuck, man. If your retelling of the
Yeah,
facts,
and
yeah. Um, if it would have been one thing like, oh, I've loved her forever. It's so hard to get out right now. You'd still have to lean on him and fucking do what you're doing. But it was like you made it sound like, hey, look, I'm doing what I'm doing. You can't tell me otherwise. No, you were right.
yeah, I mean, he was just so unapologetic about it. But I was relating that to the idea where people will kind of turn their backs on something like that, on perversion, if it's a friend. And I would say that I'd never understood that, because I can't consider somebody a friend if I find out they're like that, in terms of like underage stuff in
Okay,
any capacity, whether
so
it's
I do have somebody. This was before we were going after shit. Um, they were interested in a 16-year-old, and it was one of those. Oh, we're not going to do anything, but we're gonna chill till they become legal.
mm, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. This was before all the real shit went fucking sideways. um,
Oof.
nothing came of it. I wish I could have probably done it over again. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of it is that I think that's why I feel like I have such a zero tolerance thing for that is that it always spirals out of control. Even if they're trying to do that thing where they're orbiting, which is what they call it, where it's like,
Yep, that was
oh,
exactly what it
she's
was.
16, but she's yeah. Even then, even if you find you're still finding a 16-year-old attractive. It doesn't matter if you've passed the meridian or not. You're still finding a 16-year-old attractive. That's still fucking icky. That's still really fucking icky.
Well, hold it. I'll put it to you this way. Terrible source, but I'm going to stick behind it. What's the name of that asshole that everybody fucking hates? It's creepy as hell on YouTube.
Dream?
Anision.
Oh, yeah, no, fuck that guy.
So, yeah, here's the whole rub. He puts up a picture. One girl's 18, one girl's 17. They are real close. You don't know which is which. He's like, all right, then. So if you guessed the wrong one, do I get to call you a pedophile?
Well, you got me there.
Like I know I know the source sucks, and this is my take. I got this from Law and Order, the fucking show. You're judged by what you do, not by what you think.
Yeah,
Jack McCoy made a remark where he's on the beach or something like that, and he's like, I saw some hot girl from behind. He's like, it turns out it's my daughter. And he's like, you know what the difference is? There's some people who see that and just don't care.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I would hope that mentally.
Well, here's the funny thing is about that. Well, you know, I'll put it to you this way. Some of those people do have that fucking notion in there. There's a guy I went after. The moniker was Therapy Rarity, aka Critical Thought. Obviously on Twitter.
I remember that.
Yeah. One of their posts, the one that stuck with me, that let me know that they understood the concept of too far. They're like, oh, I had some weird dream or musing about my grandmother, and I went gross and quickly skipped away from it. There's that moment in your head where you could decide to head down that path. You don't let fucking anybody from any fucking coalition. Oh, I have to. No, you don't. My heart's breaking if that's the only thing that you could get down, but I'm pretty sure that you could develop other interests if you put your mind to it.
if you really tried.
Yeah, and sure anybody who's like, oh, but you shouldn't have to. We don't live in Shoodland. there are so many flavors on the, excuse my French, so many flavors on the rainbow that are legal that you don't have to go down that route.
Yeah, you can find something. I'm sure you can find something. I mean,
as long as it's of age, alive, and not an animal. That's all you gotta do.
There you go. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's this conversation's gotten real. Yeah.
Well, here I'll put it to you this way that I didn't understand is that there's a YouTube series called Comics That Make You Go What the Fuck, and there's a scene in there where fucking Supergirl's flying with Hal Jordan through space. And it looks all suggestive, and she's like, so Hal, what do you do for fun? And Hal's response in his head, I didn't think anything was weird about, where he's like, calm down, Hal, you've got food older in your fridge than she is, she's 17.
Oh my gosh.
And the response is, someone in the comments is like, Hal Jordan has forgotten how many times he's almost molested an underage girl. Look, he made the right decision. What the fuck, people? Like, what's the problem? And on top of that, I see how Supergirl is drawn in this goddamn comic. Shut the fuck up. Like, I didn't know she was 17. I know how that they're trying to present her. Feel free to just correct me or disagree. You'll be like, well, under my observational eye, let me bust out my monocle. And if you really want to question me about it, I'm more of a Power Girl person. I'm going to hope she's of age.
You're gonna hope and pray.
Well, here's the funny thing is, and I don't really care about this one because I never really found that art style attractive. They're like, oh, did you know that all the Scooby-Doo kids are fucking underage? I was like, I didn't. Why the fuck are they walking around completely unsupervised all those damn episodes in a van?
Well, yeah, it's because it was the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Nobody cared about their kids in the
I
70s.
assumed that they were a bunch of hippies who were drugged out and fucking goddamn doing that instead of a job. If I had to think about it. If I had to think about it.
I think that's the thing. I think everybody assumed that.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just eventually gets to the point where that's all I can say is just oy.
Yeah, no. Like again, I'm not sitting there and no. I am perfectly happy with the age of consent being at 18. Absolutely, right there.
Well, yeah.
Bare minimal, perfect. First, it is perfect in the way that the democracy is perfect. It is the best worst solution that we have. Because I'm pretty sure if we change it, someone will fuck it up one way or another.
Well, there's always been arguments for it. Because it's like, when are you an adult? When you can drive, when you can fucking smoke, when you can drink, when you can be tried as an adult in most states. Like, America has such a weirdly defined sense of adulthood.
There's an easy clapback to that. Do you want age of consent to be a standardized federal test? Because there's going to be some people who never get laid then. Take the 18 and take the win. Because you're going to have a lot of dumb people who never get legally laid after that.
Fair enough.
You could say, well, maybe shouldn't. We don't live in Shoodland.
I get, but I feel like overall, it being in a set age rather than being this nebulous concept is a better idea. Where 18's fine.
I mean, works fine. If you're somebody's parent, you get to still keep saying no at that point. That's all between you.
Yeah, and you're still, and there's a lot of, I mean, because I'm relatively young still. I'm 19.
Okay.
So I'm looking from this angle, and I'm looking at people who are 17 at 19, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, you're like a child. Like, and it's 2 years. They were born in 2 years after me, and it's that mentality in high school where you look at the freshmen and you're like, Jesus Christ, they're young when you're like a junior. And I still
let's put if we're talking about mentality, you know who Boogie 0928 is?
Yes, I do.
I obviously didn't know him back then, but I wouldn't be shocked if he hasn't mentally changed since he was 16.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is the perfect example of the federal standardized you need to pass this to get laid test. And I'd be like, if you're boogie smart, you're never getting laid. And there'll be a bunch of people going, maybe those people shouldn't get laid. I was like, I'm not going to call for that.
I mean, yeah, it's
maybe some of you guys in the comments wouldn't be born. There'll be a bunch of edgelords. Well, maybe I shouldn't have.
Oh god, and that leads me to another thing that's unrelated, but now you like you said, you got me started.
Yep.
Is the type of people who who hate themselves, value their life so less they start devaluing other people's lives. Like, I see this a lot nowadays, if you know what I'm saying, where it's like people who be like, yeah, no, life isn't really that valuable. Like, I don't see why people are like so up in arms about this, that, and the other. It's like, it's just life. Where it's like, because they hate themselves so much and like disregard their own life, they can't seem to understand that other people like to live. It's like, I'm seeing it start to become more and more prevalent as like low self-esteem and depression, those kind of go on the rise.
Let me clap back on that though. I like to live. I like it no matter how simple or complex or basic bitch as it gets. I enjoy food. I enjoy a good meal, sleep, rest, hot bath. The simple pleasures, the basic bitch bullshit things of life. But I could make an argument on how life isn't all that important, because if your nation doesn't have anything of that relevancy, we don't do anything about it. if that's what we're talking about. Like, we're in Ukraine because there are certain materials that we specifically need for like microchips and shit like that. If you want to be like that. Also, we're going to be in Taiwan, presumably, arguably, maybe. We have certain lobbyists for other countries, which, hey, good on you. We have lobbyists for crypto, so I'm not going to hate on you guys for having that. And you know what? You guys aren't as big of a schmoz as Sam Bankman-Fried, so okay.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm looking at, but are we? I'm not necessarily talking about it as, you know, let me cut you on my edge. I'm talking about it from cold hard. How much money and time is going to be invested into helping these people out? Well, that depends, I guess, to the international globalist fucking. We're getting big brained here. Yeah, whether we're going to help this place out or not. Or did you mean like just people like talking about 1v1 caring about people?
Yeah, I think I did. I mean it in a more individualistic sense, where it's like mainly I didn't want to necessarily bring it into this, but mainly I was speaking about abortion. If we want to get into that conversation,
so I am Catholic, but I actually, this will admit, one of the times I've had a liberal beat me, not to my face. I just heard the argument and I never clapped back. Do you give a shit about that child after it's born?
Yeah, I mean,
well, good on you.
I'd like
good on you.
I mean, I'd like to think so. I mean, and I'll say this is coming from the perspective of someone
when you mention like life is cheap. If I spent every moment of every day worrying about every person who passed away each day, I'd never get anything done. And you could call that cold and cynical, but it's true. How many people die on the daily?
Well, yeah, I don't know the actual number.
I mean,
millions, but
yeah, a lot. Fucking some obscene.
Yeah, a lot. Big number.
And if I really sat there, and the more you think about it, the more douchey it's going to be. Like, so which ones do I not care about? Let's see, how many people?
Yeah, I guess you'd eventually have to. But then you think about it in like a systematic sort of way, like abortion and Planned Parenthood is a system, but there is still systems for after that
globally
born to help them.
150,000.
150,000 people die every day.
Let's see, deaths per day. Deaths per day, globally average. That's weird because it has one
that
for 100.
Seem like a low number.
It says 76,200 on the global average, though. Here, I'll toss you the link. Because maybe I'm reading this wrong.
The fact of the matter is, it's a big number, a number so big that we can't even work.
Yeah, I don't have the time to look up and properly mourn and celebrate the lives of 762 people I've never known or met. When I've heard about a family member, and the first remark is, "Have I ever met so and so?"
Yeah, but I think
it's not that I hate them, by any stretch of the imagination, but to have that attachment, to have that grief, comes from having a feeling of loss.
Yeah, I see that, but you can also have grief in a general sense of just death being a tragedy.
Oh, let me be clear here. I felt horrible about 9/11. Like, fucking that's close to home. But if that had been in Paris, France, in the Eiffel Tower, I mean, if without knowing that 9/11 was that direct analogy right there, and it just sort of happened. Yes, I know. Yeah, I have set myself up with a bad example there, but it is true.
Yeah.
You've ever heard the saying?
Like,
you've heard the Mel Brooks saying, right? Tragedy is when I cut my finger. Comedy is when you fall down a flight of stairs, break your neck, and die. The further,
I've heard that.
The further away this shit gets from me, the funnier it is. The more it is closer to me, the more of a tragedy it is. I didn't make up that rule.
Yeah, I think, and I was about to say...
And I'm not necessarily laughing at everybody else who's dying either, because I don't have time to do that either.
Well, yeah, you can't laugh at everybody. There's so many people dying a day, you can't laugh at all of them. You wouldn't get anything done.
China is the country with the highest number of deaths per day in the world, with 29,000 per day. That's what the article says.
I wonder why.
And that's probably undercut. That's probably
why.
Well, with presumably $1 billion, that's the best guess we have right now.
Yeah.
You could argue how much of that would be acceptable with just the average passing of, this, that, and the other, if everything was doing its job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people in China live in a fucking Ford factory, pretty much, like a pre Theodore Roosevelt Ford factory. So,
well, for example, Afghanistan on here is 734 a day. That doesn't sound too terrible, but then again, it's not that big of a country.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to look it up.
Anyway, I'm coming from this from a perspective of somebody who, if things were a little different, would not exist.
Damn, Israel's pretty damn low, 130.
Yes,
that's pretty
winning.
That's pretty respectable.
And if you compare it to our birth rates because of the Haredi's, dude,
you know what the you know what the downside is? 5 per hour. You can manage that. Do you want to do that? that would get pretty morbid. All right, I've got to take a side. Let's see if if I base this out at 2 a minute, I could get that done in 10. It gives me 50 minutes on every hour to get my life done. Like that would be so fucking unhealthy. Or maybe you would value life more. I don't know. I don't want to find out. It's a little too progressive. I don't know what word I'd call it. It's certainly a thing. Yes, it's certainly a thing. Yeah.
God. Oh. We'll just call it Kafkaesque. It doesn't matter if it fits, but we'll call it Kafkaesque.
Let's see, UK 70 per hour, 1,000.
Yeesh.
Any ones you want me to look on here since I got it open?
Try Brazil.
Brazil. Okay, goody. Yeah.
That's Brazil too.
Oh, I gotta see Puerto Rico since I'm passing it by. 100 per day. No, that's a real tiny place. How much did you guys have again? 5? Oh, 5 per hour.
Yeah, which considering how many babies are born per hour in Israel, still, just I think
Brazil. All right, so 4,000 per day. You know what? Let's look up U.S. I gotta look now. Fuck.
Oh yeah. Now we gotta know.
Let's see. Is it America or United States? I'm gonna say United States.
Yeah. America includes Canada and America.
7,900. We are ranked 3rd in the world. What was China again? Let's see. I want to see where their rank was. Brazil.
It's like Disneyland. It's like Disneyland. No one dies in the People's Republic. No one's allowed to die in the People's Republic.
Well, that was my take on North Korea and fucking the bug. My thought was wait, you're infected, and then they get removed. Let's say.
Yeah, they got disappeared.
Is it called People's Republic of China? Is it with a P?
I think so.
All right.
PR.
Yeah, there
it is. I think so. People's Republic.
Ranked number 1 in the world. Yes, sir. Let's get those numbers up, America. I'm kidding. Those are rookie numbers, son.
Come on, get another plague.
No. God.
They released a new type of COVID. Listen,
we're
number 1 in everything. We're number 1 in everything.
Holy shit. It's too late to change the name of the title to We're Number 1. Holy shit.
Dude, imagine how fucked up it'd be if Joe Biden just went up there and he's like, okay, guys, we got a new initiative going.
I'm waiting where he inevitably just has a complete meltdown, not like regular, but because his brain just defies him and he says the absolute wrong thing because of senility. And
yeah, I mean, dude, the whole poor kids are just as good as white kids that still live in my head rent free.
I don't think that was senility. I think that was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, it's just because there's something deep inside him, and I'm just waiting for the dementia to get to the point where he can finally let loose. Jesus.
Oh fuck.
I feel a little bad for him. I feel bad for him.
I could feel bad for him when he's at home.
Yeah, exactly. You feel bad for him when he's on his deathbed.
You know what? I'll probably hate him a lot less when he's a one-termer.
Yeah. You see, this is proof of what you were saying. If my dad got dementia, I'd be terrified. But with Joe Biden having dementia, it's really fucking funny.
Oh, it is kind of. If you had dementia at home, see this is the whole thing. That cut on my finger is very much on my finger as long as he's in the White House. It very much is affecting me. Jesus.
Yeah, but gas would be a little cheaper though.
That's going to take some work. Like that's not going to be some light switch that gets flicked on and everything's suddenly going to get better. But
what do you mean? Whenever the letter I like is in the White House, everything's great, and the letter I don't like means everything's terrible. Don't you understand?
God. Look, I'm totally okay with RFK Jr. winning. Totally.
Dude, the fucking revenge of Bobby Kennedy. Every union's gonna be shut down immediately.
He doesn't have the Boston accent, does he? That's a shame.
No, the Boston accent's really funny. It's really fun to listen to.
Bobby, say chowder.
Come on, Bobby, say chowder.
It's like that one fucking commercial on YouTube where they're trying to talk to the ostrich. Say peanut butter. No.
Oh my gosh! Because it's. I think JFK is super interesting to listen to, and I think it's like 75% of what he has to say and 25% of that accent. Because he's just like, we will get to the moon in this decade.
I gotta admit, I've had people goddamn accuse me. Where do you get your news from? Fox? I was like, I get it from Bloomberg. Not that Bloomberg isn't woke, but by God, at least they'll fucking kind of give you the resemblance of financial fucking news.
Yeah, I mean,
they won't constantly clearly there's a Joey B fucking lean, but they're not like the lips aren't attached to the ass or else.
Just, oh gosh, that reminds me of how much the term brown nosing makes me kind of.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was alluding. Yeah, I wasn't gonna get that.
It's like,
yeah, that was the thing I remember. It was right after the incident that happened with Israel with the hostages and such. Bloomberg News was sitting there talking to fucking one of the citizens on the ground, and without prep work, what do you think of the current president? And they just went the fuck off. And I guarantee you, there's no way the NBC or CNBC would have asked that question unless they specifically. What's the name of fucking the president of Israel? I forget it. They mention it constantly.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Netanyahu. He's not long. Actually, did they suspend his election, or am I thinking of Ukraine?
You're thinking of Ukraine.
Okay. What are your thoughts on that?
Ukraine or Netanyahu?
The suspension of fucking the election.
And you see, this is another one of those things where if it's close, it's hard to say because I got a lot of Ukrainian friends.
Oh, but let me be clear here. I absolutely understand why it makes sense. That's not a hard argument by any fucking stretch of the imagination. The counter argument is, fucking what's his goddamn name? Fucking Rich, the fucking 4-time president, Franklin, Theodore.
Oh,
yeah, he had to run 4 times, and he won 4 times by hook or crook. He fucking won. Lincoln, during the Civil War, when he was grossly fucking unpopular, had to run, and he won.
Yeah,
it would have made perfect. It would have made absolute sense. And if you're like screaming at me, but we shouldn't be taking that chance, but we do. It's just part of what we do. Even if you have to put your finger on the scale afterwards, you have to let people think that they have a fucking goddamn, some kind of say in it.
Yeah, I understand. I get it. I guess that, it ceases to be a democracy when you start not letting people vote. And it's like, if we champion democracy like we say we do, we have to, no matter what's going on, no matter how much it makes sense, we have to be like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah. If you want to hold off to letting the next guy get in until the situation is resolved, certainly. We're going to...
I mean, yeah. Ugh.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I
was about to say about that is that you get that a lot of these interviews, people will be like, look at what this Israeli citizen said, and it's like, that's just how Israelis talk. Like, you just haven't been around Israelis if you think, like, they're like, look at how impolite they are, and it's just like, that's just Israel if you've ever been.
I mean, my counterclap back to that is that you're in Israel right now and you're going to be kind of bitchy. I would. Fuck are you?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be kind of bitchy right now. Yeah. I'm not saying your point's not invalid, but, you know, I mean, what were you expecting me to be? To be sparkling fantastic after that?
Yeah.
I do think that it was fucking amazing that they ran back and took counter fucking hostages, and I'm like, how did you lose the high ground that fast? Jesus. You speed ran your way to the bottom there. Yeah. I understand why it practically made sense. But the only thing that the terrorists had to do at that point is don't execute anybody, you'll be sympathetic.
But something else I love is the calls for ceasefire.
Yeah.
And as soon as there's a ceasefire, it took 15 minutes for Hamas to break the ceasefire. 15 whole minutes. And the story is now that Israel's resuming under the guise that we are the ones breaking the ceasefire, when that is not the case.
Wait, you said that Israel's saying that we're breaking the ceasefire?
No, I'm saying the media is saying that Israel is breaking the ceasefire, even though it was Hamas that started with an attack on Israeli citizens 15 minutes after the ceasefire was officially called. They just leave out the part where the Hamas started it with breaking the ceasefire first. And it's
I understand politically that basically we back Israel because they're our Joe, our guy.
The only democracy in the Middle East.
Well, we do have other people that we back.
Yeah.
Off again, on again with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But
depends on how much oil they have.
I think they're currently being a pain in the ass with us. I'm pretty sure, as a matter of fact. I'm long oil. Unlike Tesla, I am totally long oil. So here's hoping that Joe Biden, he hasn't fulfilled the reserves yet. I'm pretty sure he hasn't. So I'm looking forward to that windfall.
It's always fun when the price of the pump doesn't match the price of the crude oil for like forever.
That there'll be a spike after the election. You could be like, how could you profiteer from this? I mean, it's going to happen with or without me.
I mean,
do you really think that my small meager amount is going to matter where the fuck?
Listen, man, they're going to make the shells either way. I might as well.
Yeah, no shit. I did. Gilded mentioned to me right before all the shit hit fucking the fan. It was during the Ukraine war. You should probably go along fucking, what's the name of the military thing? Lockheed Martin. Oh, I should have. I'm pretty sure they did pump.
Boeing.
Boeing is one of the ones too, but I kind of already knew about Boeing through, flight and shit.
Well, that's what my dad did is when COVID hit, he immediately started buying stock in cruise lines.
Depending when he did that, he probably made out like a bandit. Like if it was like in.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. When they were at like their lowest, he bought a bunch, and then when like stuff started opening back up, and people started going on cruises again because they're like, oh, the virus is gone. That's when he started. That's when he sold.
Yeah, I was gonna say as long as he isn't married to it, it was an excellent play.
Well, yeah, no, he makes his money from other stuff. He was just like thinking about it. He was like, this is probably a good idea.
Oh, you know what was a fucking great dip buy. For whatever reason.
And he bought in like...
What it was recently.
AMC too.
Well, super recently, less than a week ago. Someone put out an article that Wendy's was closing down everywhere.
Oh.
It dropped by like $1+ and then fucking it rebounded. And I was like, God damn it, I knew I should have bought more. It seemed like bullshit. Yeah. And I'm like going, is there anything worse about Wendy's than there was before? Is the food still fucking delicious? Are people still going? Then this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, do I want to hate Wendy's forever if this is true? Because if I put all my eggs in this basket and it just goes completely out of business, I'm gonna fucking punch the screen.
Because I remember seeing that because I was thinking about it. I was like, logically, the best time to sell Apple stock would be I forget, it was like around like a product launch where it's at its highest, and then like that was like one of their years where nobody bought where like for some reason nobody bought like the product they were shilling for. And I remember just looking at the graph and being like, man, I'm so glad I didn't buy into that. I'm so glad that like it was just like I had like this idea of what would happen, and then that absolutely did not happen, and for a reason I cannot
pretty sure that we've been uptrending for like a hot time. The only one you would have been stuck in that would have been a major stock that's on everyone's lips is Disney. Like, fuck, they're really bad. Well, they've had a $15 recovery, but Jesus Christ. I remember at 80, I'm like, I'll get it at 50. And then, I know it was going to say, I'll get it at 30. But the lower it gets, the scarier it gets.
Yeah, it's like watching the Iron Bank. It's just like...
Well, there's a Peter Lynch saying, if you buy $50,000 worth of stock at, $100 a share, or you buy $50,000 of stock and $10 a share, if it goes to zero, how much money do you have? The same.
The same amount of money.
Yeah.
It's like the mentality. It's like the mentality of buying it's like buy two get two free. It's like, I'll get two later down the line, so it's still spending the same amount of money.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna really use all that damn much, is that product gonna rot by the time I get around to those other two?
Well, I was speaking from experience. It was 12 packs of soda.
Well, that'll keep. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good investment. Not investment, but a pretty good buy.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna hold you to that. Fuck.
I'm investing in this soda.
Well, the caffeine pays dividends. It has a positive effect that makes your overall fucking. I've just had days where I know I'm hopelessly addicted to caffeine, where I'll just be like, why do I feel like? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I haven't had caffeine. I've heard doctors on YouTube sit there and say that they've had physical reactions because they went 2 days without caffeine, where they had to dive into a store and down fucking a 2 liter as fast as possible because their body was seizing up, and that's why they quit caffeine. I haven't had it happen that bad yet.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, that's got to be. I've never experienced something like that, as far as I know. But I am. Actually, no, I did, because I'm currently on. They recently had that huge shortage of Focalin, which is the ADHD medicine I take. And then they were just like, "Oh, recently, as in this summer," and they were like, "Oh, we're out," and I'm like, "Oh, do you have the generic?" And they're like, "No, we're out of that too." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I had to take 2 weeks to get prior authorization for a new medication. And during that, I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Because I was on it for so long that I forgot. I pretty much forgot I had ADHD. And then you're right back on that horse.
Oh yeah, no, I've been diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, so I got it.
It genuinely, everything fell apart, and and I was like, why do I have absolutely no motivation to fix any of the things that are crumbling around me? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a physical reaction. It was more just a whole... Because it's more just oh, wow, I actually do have a fucking disorder, instead of just just take this medicine because it's what I've been doing for the past 2 years or whatever. And I am going to check the time. It is 1:06.
Yeah, I know. I think we ran out a long time ago and milked this for however fucking long it went.
Perfect.
All right, great. Godspeed. I will hit stop.
Yes.
Godspeed, everybody. Fingers crossed that we beat Fingers crossed that we beat the burning